folks, it's Jeff here. Just a quick reminder, if you're loving Disney Coast to Coast, there are a couple of easy ways that you can support the show. We'd love it if you could rate and review us on iTunes, or wherever you listen to the show. This is a simple way to help other Disney fans find us. Also, go ahead and share your favorite episodes on social media and be sure to tag us. You can find all of our social media information at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. And finally, I just want to say thank you to all of you who listen every week. Your support is very appreciated, and we love that you're enjoying our Disney geekiness. Now on with the show.
Get ready for your weekly dose of pixie dust with Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli.
And I'm Aaron Fairbanks.
And Aaron Fairbanks.
What's up?
Do you know what I think of when I think Disney?
Fox.
I think Simpsons. I think American Horror Story.
Ooh.
No.
That reminds me of something, but
we'll get into it. Guys, in today's Disney Dialogue, we're going to be talking about some of the latest news that some craziness is going on at the Walt Disney Company. So let's just get right into it.
Get ready to dig deep in today's Disney Dialogue.
Now, full disclosure, at the beginning of this, I do want to mention we're recording this on the evening of Monday, December 11th. The reason I mention that is because this episode will be released on Wednesday, as it always is, on December 13th. But this is such, news that seems to be buzzing. As of right now, we're talking about something that is a possibility. Yeah. But by Wednesday, when this is released, this could happen. So I'm just putting that at the beginning. We're recording this 2 days early.
We're ahead of the curve.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, in the news recently is the fact that the Walt Disney Company is interested in buying pieces of 21st Century Fox. And it's very
20th Century.
No, the company's called 21st Century Fox. The movie studio is 20th Century Fox and 20th Century Fox TV, but the Walt Disney Company, theirs is 21st Century Fox because we're in the 21st century.
Did they update it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, back in the 21st century started. That's the thing. You don't think so? I'm telling you, that's what it's called. So, it's. I'm not a huge fan of this idea, which I'm sure comes as no surprise if you're a regular listener. I like original content coming from the Walt Disney Studios, not just buying stuff. You are more of a fan of this, yes?
Yeah, well, I don't think that necessarily changes that.
You don't?
Yeah, no.
We just keep buying more and more stuff that...
Yeah, but Fox isn't really they're not pushing out... Well, first of all, they're producing a couple shows that already air on ABC. Mm-hmm. And it's more about their back catalog. It's not about the properties that they would be absorbing, they should be absorbing because they're already part of...
In some cases, but there's a lot of other stuff that they would be getting that's a little weird to think would be Disney. But let's just start at the beginning real quickly. So Fox has been trying to sell for a while now. Yeah. The Murdochs run the Fox, and they're also in discussions with Comcast, who, if you don't know, owns Universal Studios and the theme parks there. I personally think that's a better fit, but from what I understand, the Murdochs really want Disney. So that's the direction it's heading. So Comcast, Verizon, and Sony are also in discussions for this. If this goes through, apparently the deal is potentially that it would include Fox movie and TV studios, FX Networks, National Geographic Cable Group, and Fox's 30% stake in Hulu, which Disney already has 30%. A percentage in. So
they'd have 60%.
That would be a majority, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
This is going to be around $50 to $60 billion is what they're saying, which is way more than, I think both Lucasfilm and Marvel were both around 40 billion, right?
Well, they're different. That's different.
They're different. I'm just saying those were obviously expensive as well, but this is even more expensive. For me, this is this is nothing new in the Iger days of buying stuff that they don't create. Did it with Marvel Studios, did it with Lucasfilm, did it with the Muppets. And was Pixar before? No, Pixar was with Iger.
But he incorporated it into the company.
Yeah.
They already distributed.
Yeah. But as far as owning it, this is all under Iger. So to me, this is very different. Those are very specific genres and areas, all of those things. I feel like Pixar and Muppets make the most sense to be with the Walt Disney Company. Fox, I don't get it. It's a little weird to me, but there is a good side and there is a bad side, and I think that's what we should discuss tonight, the pros and the cons of this if it does happen to go through. So what do you think is some of the good stuff that would happen if Disney does indeed own Fox Movies and TV?
Well, speaking on one thing you said is Hulu. And
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons that would benefit them is that they could build their streaming service off of Hulu.
Which is, yeah, because they've already announced that they're creating like their own separate streaming service. So to me, that actually muddies the water a little bit. First, I should say, although I do not particularly love this idea from a business standpoint, obviously this is a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Disney shareholder, and frankly, I would rather they not buy it, even though it would still make a lot of money for them, I think. But okay, sorry, continue.
No,
Hulu.
So Hulu, they would have a platform to kind of build. They would already have a subscriber base that they could build their streaming service off of. Network wise, Disney doesn't have the strongest networks. Kids stuff, obviously, but ABC and Freeform don't perform super well. And I think one thing they'd be gaining is the kind of powerhouse that is Fox.
Well, they wouldn't own the Fox network.
Yeah, they would.
From what I read,
They'd get the Fox television studios.
Yeah, but
so
not,
all the properties that are under
the properties, yes, but like the network would not be theirs.
I think the only network it's news.
So Fox would retain Fox News, Fox Broadcast Network.
Oh, okay.
And Fox Sports.
So
1.
would they still retain the rights to all of their shows?
I don't think so. I think Disney would have the rights to the shows, but Fox Broadcast Network would be its own thing. But like we said, none of this is official.
Yeah.
So nobody really knows what's going on behind closed doors. This is just kind of what's being reported. There's some theories out there.
Right.
And that's what we're discussing. So please, anything we're saying is conversation based on theory, in essence.
But you said that they would be buying the FX networks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that part of
okay, I think maybe we need to say, what is the Disney brand these days?
Right.
Because to me, the Disney brand is just gone if this goes through. Like, I think we will actually be at a point in the Walt Disney Company where I will like less content than I do like. And
you don't like a lot, though.
I don't think that's true. Like, I like a lot of Lucasfilm. I like Pixar. I like the Muppets. I like original content that the Walt Disney Company makes in a lot of cases.
You like the new Muppets show?
It wasn't my favorite, but I didn't dislike it.
You liked Muppets Most Wanted?
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't dislike it.
Okay.
I did not walk out of those movies saying, "Oh, I hate the Muppets." No, it's not like I've liked all of that way more than I've ever liked The Simpsons.
What?
Yeah, I'm not a Simpsons.
Whoa.
Yeah. Plus, this has nothing to do with do I like it, don't I like it. It has to do with does it fit the Disney brand.
Right.
And I don't think American Horror Story fits the Disney brand.
Wow.
I don't think The Simpsons fits the Disney brand. Like, I just don't think it fits the Disney brand. And I just think, like, the more stuff that they keep buying, it's just tarnishing the Walt Disney brand, which they just don't seem to give a crap anymore about. And it just seems to be like, well, let's just...
It's about making money.
It's about making money, and it's about reaching as many people as possible. And I'm more of this is a quantity over quality, in my opinion.
Right.
And I'm just not for that personally. But sorry, I keep interrupting you.
That's okay. Anyways, that's... like you said, I think that's part of what this deal is about, is being able to grow into more adult content, having more adult programs, adult movies through the Fox movie studios, being able to produce stuff that's not necessarily, like you said, on brand for Disney.
Why do we want to ruin the Disney brand? Aren't we Disney fans?
But that's the thing. I don't think. I mean, I think you may be oversimplifying it in the sense that, like, they will probably not put, like, they will own those companies, but in all likelihood, they're probably not going to say, like, this R-rated Fox movie is a Disney movie. Like, they'll probably keep they'll probably keep it as a Fox movie or have some kind of other division that they produce all this content under.
Yeah, I think I'm weird in the respect that, like, I obviously, have a little bit of OCD in me and like things in neat packages.
Right.
And, like, I can remember even as a kid very much being confused by, and I don't think the general public cares about this. I'm just saying I care about this. I remember going to Universal Studios theme parks as a kid and being like, oh, cool, Beetlejuice. And, oh God, so many different properties
that aren't
Universal.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I always thought were Universal Studios. And I remember, like, more and more and more. And now Harry Potter and stuff. And I would just keep finding out, oh, that's not a Universal property? Twister even. What is that? I think that might have been Universal and Warner Brothers.
Okay, yeah.
But there was just a lot of properties that they had that weren't Universal. And I'm like, this is so confusing as a consumer. I'm confused. This is Universal Studios, yet I'm experiencing movies from other studios. I never liked that.
Right.
Like I said, I don't think most people care or think about it that much. I do. Even Disney MGM Studios, when it opened, like, I found it very weird that the Great Movie Ride had a lot of properties that weren't Disney. When I kind of think you
weren't confused by the fact that it was Disney's MGM
I was
Studios.
totally confused by that. I didn't like it. So, like, Eisner did a lot of the stuff in the beginning as well. I find it interesting, though, because Iger, in some respects, I feel like tried to remove anything non-Disney from the parks, but then now we're buying all this non-Disney properties. It's very weird and muddled to me. It's hard. It doesn't sit well with me. But yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think you know what the two big things that I'm excited about this merger are.
Sure. And I think that these make total sense.
Right. The first
Although
being,
I wouldn't have had them buy Marvel in the first place, but
right
now that they own it, this makes sense.
The first one being is that Fox owns the majority of Marvel characters that aren't already within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, mainly the X-Men, which is a lot of characters, and the Fantastic Four, which is Marvel's first family. It's the comic that pretty much set Marvel Comics off and built the entire Marvel comic universe.
X-Men?
Fantastic Four.
Oh, Fantastic. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was Stan Lee's first big comic title, and it's really the foundation of where all these heroes that you know and love started to kind of intermingle. Like the Fantastic Four would be the ones who like met Spider-Man or like met the Avengers, and so I think and this is totally me fanboying about this merger, this potential merger, is Marvel is about to wrap up Phase 3 with Avengers 4. Well, about to. It's going to be next 2019. But they're about to wrap up Phase 3. They haven't announced Phase 4 yet because they're saying
Phase 4, they're like, we're done. This is it.
No.
Tie a ribbon.
They're saying like we're gonna like make some major changes at the end of Avengers. Like major characters are gonna die. Like we're kind of gonna shift.
You can't kill superheroes.
Yes, you can.
They're seriously. Wait a sec. Have these characters died in the comics?
Yeah. Okay. Usually in the comics though they come back, but this is like this is actors' contracts coming to an end and them wanting to give people a good send off. And also wanting to explore new realms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I read this online. I forget where I saw it. But it totally makes sense that Kevin Feige's kind of like holding back because he's like, oh, well, if we acquire Fantastic Four, because he's already said like he really would love to have the Fantastic Four back. Even more so than the X-Men, because X-Men like complicates things to no end.
Because X-Men they had a successful movie series. Fox did a good job with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic Four never really did, right?
No, it hasn't had a successful movie.
Didn't Warner Brothers make one?
No.
Okay.
I think Fox has had the rights since they start. Well, Wait, is Warner Brothers the really old one that was?
No, I thought the latest one with like Miles Teller. For some reason, I thought Warner Brothers was involved with that.
No, because the whole rumor around that was that Fox made it because they relinquish the rights if they don't make a movie every number of years. But I don't know if that's true. Anyways, I wonder if he's holding back on announcing Phase 4 because he's like, if we get these characters back, then that's gonna impact the entire next phase of the Marvel Universe, which I want to see because the Fantastic Four were my gateway into comic books.
It was your gateway drug.
It was my
comics.
Gateway. They were my gateway family into Marvel Comics, and they just fit so well. They're just such a great story, and I want Kevin Feige to be in charge of that because then I think they'll finally do justice to a Fantastic Four movie as opposed to all the terrible Fantastic Four movies we've gotten.
Now, they do Deadpool as well, right?
Deadpool's X-Men.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So I'm
learning so much today. Thank you.
So Deadpool, obviously any of the X-Men series. They also have a new movie, New Mutants, coming out, which is kind of like a horror take on the superhero genre. I'm trying to think. I'm sure I'm forgetting something that they put out. But they've Fox has really ramped up their X-Men franchise. They've got 2 shows on right now. They've got Gifted, and they've got Legion. So they've really, but part of why I think those shows have been so successful is they worked with Marvel Television to produce those shows.
Oh, interesting.
So they've already kind of been opening up the door to Marvel and getting their advice on stuff.
You know what's so frustrating about all of this to me?
What?
As you know, I like things in a nice little pretty packaged container.
Right.
And you would think that by Disney, who owns Marvel Studios, acquiring all of this stuff from Fox, it would make that pretty package complete. Unfortunately, Spider-Man will still be at Sony.
Right.
Which is so frustrating.
Wait, you know what drives me even more nuts about that is they've agreed to share the Spider-Man character with Marvel Studios, right? He's scheduled to appear.
Thank goodness, because he's like my favorite.
He's awesome, too. And proof's in the pudding because their Spider-Man, at least in my opinion, is my favorite cinematic Spider-Man so far. I loved Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies.
Until the third
except
one.
for 3.
God, that movie was terrible.
And honestly, I thought that the 2, I know they did kind of well, but the Amazing Spider-Man movies were kind of bland to me. They were kind of eh.
Oh, the
with Andrew Garfield.
I really like them, but I really like Andrew Garfield.
I liked him.
Sally Field's in it, so that's kind of like
right, and she was a
golden
great
ticket. Boom. Yeah, I love
but
her.
Tom Holland is phenomenal.
Yeah,
and I think a big part of that is because Marvel Studios had a hand in that. So
okay.
What I was gonna say, what drives me nuts is they've decided to share Spider-Man, but they're still going to make all these Spider-Man character spin-offs that aren't related to any of the Spider-Man movies.
What do you mean?
They're making Venom.
As movies?
As movies, they're making Venom and Silver Sable.
Oh, and they're not related to the Spider-Man movies because Sony has Spider-Man wrapped up.
Right.
Okay.
Because they don't want to share.
Wasn't Venom introduced Topher
3.
Grace?
Yeah.
And are you impressed? That's impressive.
That is impressive.
I like Spider-Man.
Wow.
Spider-Man I like, Superman I like, although in both cases, some of the films not so great.
Right.
But yeah, so I would put that as a pro.
Definitely.
I would definitely say the Marvel stuff at Fox, it would be very good to get it home to the Marvel Studios. Another thing that you had mentioned some Fox TV stuff that airs on ABC. The one I'm most familiar with is Modern Family. To be honest, I was surprised to learn that this was produced by Fox. I always assumed it was part of ABC Studios. But yeah, that is a very, classic ABC sitcom. What is it now in its 8th year? 2009.
Wow, yeah.
2009 came out. So like 8th season, and I think I got one more after this. So it's a long-running ABC classic sitcom, I think, at this point, even though it's a little tired. But
it's still fun.
I'm so ready for it to be done.
Yeah.
I watch it but I'm ready. Anyway, so I think that's good. That's a nice little plus. Were there others that you knew of that Fox TV produced? That,
TV shows?
Yeah, that's on ABC.
Is the Goldbergs Fox?
I don't know. I always assume they're ABC studios if it's on ABC, which I know is not how it works.
Right.
But if it's
talk about being confused. I only learned that other studios produced shows for networks like 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I've seen ABC studios produce shows on other networks than
Criminal Minds is an ABC studio.
And that was that CBS?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's so confusing.
This industry is weird and confusing.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why this whole merger is kind of like, meh, because studios are constantly like...
They are, but like, I don't know. I want Disney to kind of set the standard when it comes to a lot of stuff, and I feel like they're letting me down. I don't think this mass confusion should be the standard. I don't think this let's buy properties instead of creating original content should be the standard.
Well, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing that I think we can both agree is that we'd rather them focus their attention on improving what's already there as opposed to like just expanding into new realms.
Yeah,
like let's see you like really put your efforts into the parks.
Yeah,
if your networks aren't doing well, why don't you try improving those as opposed to buying networks that already are doing well?
Yeah, to me it's lazy, it's cheap, and I just think there's the problem I think with the public businesses where you have shareholders and everything. I think the problem with that is you have a responsibility to make more money every year for your shareholders. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong from a creative artistic standpoint of, hey, we're doing great. Let's stay here. Of course, we want to eventually grow, but I don't think I think if you take 2, 3, 4 years to hit that next step, that's okay if you're maintaining a level of good artistry.
Right.
This isn't art. This is business, but my argument is always it's called show business. Show comes first, business second. Unfortunately, the reality is the business comes first in all of this stuff. It's just, it's the way that it works. For so many people, going on a Disney vacation requires years of saving. So the last thing you want after scrimping and saving is added stress on top of that. So why not make it easier for yourself and let our Season 4 sponsor, Adventure Is Out There Travel, do the heavy lifting for you? Perhaps you're planning for your first Disney vacation and you're feeling overwhelmed because there's so much to do and see. Well, don't worry. Adventure Is Out There Travel has you covered. Their agents specialize in making suggestions based on the type of activities you tell them you want to experience. Whether heading to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or on a Disney cruise, Adventure Is Out There Travel can help you out. Go to adventuresouttheretravel.com for your free, no-obligation quote. So, in addition to these Fox TV things that they would own, also Star Wars is involved with this because currently Fox still holds the distribution rights for episodes 1 through 6, with even more involved with episode 4, right?
Yeah, so they own the permanent distribution rights to episode 4, A New Hope, which is the original movie. But the rest of the movies, they only have theatrical and home video release until 2020. So I'm guessing those revert back to Disney/Lucasfilm in 2020. But Lucasfilm/Disney also has the digital distribution rights to 1 through 3, 5, and 6, which is so bizarre.
Why did anybody sign that contract?
I don't know, but it's funny because I always wondered because if you use the movie app Disney Movies Anywhere, they would always have episode 4.
It's just Movies Anywhere.
I know they just updated it, but they would always block out episode 4. And I was like, what? I figured it out eventually. I was like, oh, it's because Fox must still own the rights. But now that it's Movies Anywhere and all the major studios are involved, you can have the digital copies of all 6 movies.
But it would definitely be a plus, I think, to bring it all home to Lucasfilm, which is under the Disney umbrella.
Well, theatrical and home video releases, I mean, that's that's quite a bit of money that Disney could put in their pockets.
So that's another pro, I think, when it comes to this. So far we got the Marvel, we got the Modern Family and other Fox TV stuff that's on ABC, Star Wars, Avatar is Fox.
Right.
I am a huge proponent of
Disney owning that.
Disney. not listen, I don't care about Avatar in the whole sense, but I really liking neat packages.
Yeah.
I like for the theme park representation to be Disney properties. As I said at the beginning when I did the Universal comparison, I'm sure there are people out there right now who think Disney created Avatar with James Cameron because it's in a Disney park. I think that's just people make that assumption. So I think now that we've got an entire land and probably another one coming soon.
Another land?
Yeah, there's been talk of they have the rights to build Pandora wherever they want, and
you think it'll be like Shanghai?
I think maybe.
Yeah.
So
you know what I think?
What?
I think they really want to be able to control the production of those movies.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be bad, but at the same time, to me, I'm just like, just let him do his thing. Like James Cameron, I'm not, other than Titanic, which is my favorite movie of all time, I'm not a huge fan of his films, but people love them. They make a lot of money. If anything, they'd probably just be like faster. They'd give the George Lucas direction. What does he always tell him? Faster and more, oh God, how does George Lucas direct actors? Faster and more not more intent. He has like this little phrase that he always tells actors. You never heard this?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think the Avatar thing would be good for Disney. Now something way off, but Disney would now own the animated film Anastasia. Which it frustrates the heck out of me.
So many confused people would finally be correct.
That's 100% correct. What was Anastasia? The 90s, right?
Yeah.
Early 90s. Anastasia is a wonderful animated movie.
Yeah.
Music by Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty. They're both brilliant and has a very Disney sound to it. It's now a Broadway musical. I went and saw it at intermission. The woman in front of me says to whoever she was with, she's like, "Have you ever seen the Disney movie?" And of course, I'm the guy that taps the shoulder and is like, "It's not Disney." And she's like, "Oh." And then I went to like look at merch, came back right before second act started, and she's like, "Do you work for Fox?" And I was like, "No." It's just that thing that drives me crazy. I'm like, it's not a Disney movie, but it would be if Disney were.
I don't know. Would that make you more?
I honestly, I wouldn't care at that
Yeah.
point. The question is, could she potentially become a Disney princess? And I don't know. That'd be interesting. I think that would be great. I think that would be the first time that Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty would have worked associated with Disney, and I think that they deserve it. If you don't know them, they wrote fantastic musicals like Ragtime, Seussical, Anastasia, of course. I just love their melodies, and I think they belong at Disney. But yeah, and so Anastasia.
Yeah.
So those are some, I guess, pros. Some people would probably consider that a con. But I don't know. I'm just sick of hearing people say it's a Disney movie, and I could finally just stop being that jerk who's like, actually...
I know neither one of us cares about this, but one thing that I was reading that would be a potential pro is that Disney would now own Fox's stake in local sports.
No, I think that they would. I thought, from what I read, Fox would keep that sports one.
Fox would keep their sports network, but they
and Fox Sports One.
And Fox Sports 1, yeah, but the rights to local sports station, they have like a broadcast deal with the New York Yankees.
Oh,
that would revert to Disney.
Yes,
they could.
I've been waiting for this day.
They could pump up ESPN with some much needed.
I was gonna say, have we learned that Disney and sports isn't working these days?
Yeah.
So now let's talk about some of the bad stuff that could come with this. Me personally, I know there's a ton of Simpsons fans out there. God bless you. I'm glad you love the show. It's like the longest running sitcom of all time. I think that's very impressive. Putting my opinions of The Simpsons aside, which I really don't hate, I just don't care. I just Disney owning The Simpsons drives me crazy, and even more so because it's a land in Universal Studios theme park.
You know what?
It drives me nuts.
I'm surprised The Simpsons is what gets you, because Family Guy
as well,
way more off base than
I think honestly everything Fox is off base. Married with Children would be Disney.
What do you mean? That would be perfect connection with Modern Family.
No.
It's like the prequel to Modern Family.
No.
Yeah.
Is that how you think of Married with Children? There are people listening to this podcast right now so young that they're like, what is Married with Children?
But it's Jay. It's Jay.
Ed O'Neill had a career before Modern Family.
It's Jay, and he has a daughter and a son. And I mean, like, in an alternate universe, that could be the prequel.
There we go.
Come on.
So yeah,
I just spun that con into a pro. So what else you got? What else you got for me?
Fair enough. Now, American Horror Story,
Tower of Terror.
Here's the deal, people. I'm gonna get hate mail for this. Okay, so if this deal went through, and Disney owned Avatar, would there be anything other than the Twilight Zone in the parks that Disney wouldn't own? Because I can't think of any.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So if that's the case, I'm sorry. I'm apologizing in advance. If that's the one and only thing
you would change it,
I wouldn't be against making it.
Ryan Murphy, send us your ideas. DCTC. I don't know what the
it's
email
contact
is.
at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.
Yeah. Send us your ideas, Ryan. We'll send them along to.
Speaking of Ryan Murphy, though, although I don't think we're done with this American Horror Story thing.
Yeah.
But
Feud.
Glee.
Oh, Glee.
I honestly could totally see Disney doing a reboot of Glee.
And yeah,
I could absolutely see that.
You know what's funny? I just realized American Idol was Fox.
Yes. I was thinking about that as well.
That was like
Idol was Fox.
They're dipping their toe in with that one. Like, well, let's try a Fox property.
No, but American Horror Story would be so weird for Disney to own. I don't know. I just there's just a lot of bad stuff that I feel.
Yeah,
like
you say that though, but I mean, look at some of the shows that ABC airs, like Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. They have very adult themed
I guess they just stay out of the parks is the deal.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any danger of The Simpsons coming to a Disney park.
I honestly don't know.
I don't think so.
But it would frustrate the heck out of me that would be another Disney thing in a Universal theme park.
Another one.
They got Marvel.
Oh,
That's
right.
very, I don't... Like I said,
they don't do it
guys,
very well.
Comment below. Does this frustrate you as well? Or am I really that weird / unique that...
No, I don't think so.
Like, it doesn't bother most people? Or
No. I don't think that you're that
Okay.
weird / unique. I think that you're very bland and
he doesn't
normal.
think I'm unique. No, I don't know. It just...
No, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't think... I mean, to me, the pros outweigh the cons. And I see a lot of people who are saying, like, oh, this would be a monopoly. Listen.
I kind of agree.
No.
Like, listen, the whole...
You think that's a monopoly, but you don't think Comcast Universal, Comcast NBC Universal is a monopoly?
Not as... I mean, Disney owns a lot now. If this goes through, Disney owns a lot. I know that the whole Warner Brothers AT&T merger is possibly not happening.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you look at most of what Disney owns, Marvel, what you listed up, those are just franchises. It's not as... They haven't been I don't think they're as much of a conglomerate as NBC Universal.
How much does Fox own of Titanic?
I have no idea.
Because I know it's Paramount.
I like how this is where your mind just went as like Titanic is going to be a Disney movie.
I mean, that could be interesting. Greatest movie of all time. Yes.
No.
I just saw it again.
Well,
I cried so much.
That's...
You'd think at this point I'd be fine.
No.
You'd think I would. Anyway, let's get back to what's going on over at Disney. Although Titanic, that would be good. Something Titanic in the parks. I mean,
No.
obviously, you got to do that
Absolute-
so tastefully.
You're so worried about like adult things
Listen,
coming to the party. Titanic is
No,
is-
that's a love story.
oh my gosh,
That's a love
It's an
story.
inappropriate love story.
No, it's perfectly appropriate.
No, it's terrible.
No. Don't ever say Titanic is terrible. Anyway, let's talk about, obviously the Murdochs, Rupert Murdoch and his sons, Robert and Lachlan Murdoch, run Fox at the moment. Now, they're saying that likely to join as an executive role at Disney is James Murdoch.
James.
So this, there's been, some discussion about the CEO role.
I know you've been
Disney.
saying that you want them to look outside of the.
I do. I don't know if
company.
this is necessarily right. Here's the thing about the CEO role at Disney. I think it's a different leadership role than any other studio situation. I think you need to.
Well, it's not a studio.
It's this whole.
Because Iger's in charge of everything, right?
Yeah. So I just think the front man of Disney, unlike most other corporations, needs to be personable.
Oh, yeah.
It's an unfair quality for this job, but I think it's what works for this company. I mean, we obviously had it with Walt. Walt Disney is obviously a huge part of the company. People don't even know that there were 4 Warner Brothers. People don't even know who Carl Laemmle was. Like, this is just a reality. The Walt Disney Company needs a front man that is personable. Iger has that, to a point. Walt certainly had it. Michael Eisner totally had it.
I don't know if he totally.
I absolutely think he did. You can like him or not. I think he was a great front man, and he loved. That's the other thing. You have to like being the front man, I think, and I think Michael certainly loved it. Between Walt and Michael Eisner, not so much. I think those are the times when the company falters a bit, and there's been a lot of talk about Bob Chapek taking on this role after Iger is scheduled to leave in 2019.
No.
I don't see him as personable. No. We've seen him at the expo present stuff, and it's always like, I know he's very like businessman. I've said a billion times, I absolutely 100% think this company needs to be run by 2 people, a creative and a business. I think Iger leans more toward business. I think Bob Chapek even more, if I were just to look at what they do. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Nah, you don't really care.
I think Iger should have bionic implants and just continue running the company until
and that's the other thing with this whole Fox thing. Now there's talk about, so Iger actually pretty recently, when was it? He did an interview. He made an announcement recently that I think it was back in October 2019. What is it, July or mid, whatever it was? He's leaving. And now that this Fox thing is happening, there is a lot of reports that he is staying beyond 2019. I guess there goes the presidential run. That's not going to happen anymore for him.
if that happens.
I think it's going to happen.
I don't know. Why? I don't know. Yeah, if you look at...
I'm so ready for Bob Iger to move on.
The company has never been more profitable than it is
That is
right
not...
now.
That's not the priority. That's not the priority for us. It's the priority for them. They have to make the money for... I get that, but like that's not a Disney fan's priority. The Disney fans' priority is making phenomenal content for us. I get there needs to be a balance.
Disney, Jeff wants you to hold a fan contest to see who loves
the next
Disney the most, and they'll become the next
I
CEO
honestly
of the
think
company.
we love Disney more than Bob Iger.
I don't know about
I think he enjoys the paycheck he gets from it.
I don't know. I think he respects. I think he respects
for sure.
the position he's in and the company that he's in charge
I don't
of.
doubt that, and I certainly think he's done wonderful things. But and Michael Eisner as well. I loved Michael Eisner. I know that's an unpopular opinion in some situations, but the fact is that there was a time where it's like, okay, your time is done. It's time to move on. And I don't even disagree with that when that happened to him.
Hey,
it's Iger's time to move on.
At least Iger hasn't bought multiple sports teams.
Which ones did Eisner buy?
Eisner bought the Ducks,
Mighty
and he
Ducks.
bought the Angels.
Well, come on, the Mighty Ducks. You have to, right? And Angels in the outfield. You have to. It's a tie-in. It works. I like it. So in any case, so it was Iger's leaving 2019. That was confirmed. Then it was rumors of who's going to take over. They talk about Bob Chapek, who's the Walt Disney Parks and Resorts chairman. Before that, he worked for 24 years with the company with film studios and consumer products. And then now the rumors are maybe not Chapek because maybe Murdoch will take over. But if Murdoch comes in, he's going to need some time with Iger. So maybe Iger's going to extend. So it's this like other mess that... I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how all this pans out.
All I care about is that I get all my Marvel characters into the same universe.
So that's the priority for you.
That's all I care about.
But you still don't have Spider-Man.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, you do, but
they
you
do.
don't. They
do have Spider-Man.
They do-ish.
No, they do.
They do-ish.
No, they have.
Sony can still release Spider-Man movies with zero involvement from Disney, right?
Not with Tom Holland, they can't.
Really? So what is Disney's role? Like if Sony goes and makes a Spider-Man movie, what is Disney? Is it they slap their name on it, or how does it like?
What do you mean?
They're not creatively involved. Like Marvel,
they are.
Marvel Studios is creatively involved.
Yeah.
And Sony's and Disney's name are both on it.
Yeah, so what happened, well, Disney's name isn't on it, Marvel Studios' name is on it.
Okay.
And the way that it works is that Marvel gets creative input on the Spider-Man films. Sony gets final decision, they get the final say-so, although based on Homecoming, they're very much like, yeah, you're right, we'll go with what you want. Marvel gets a certain amount of Spider-Man in its movies, so we got Civil War, we get Avengers Infinity War, and he's going to be in Avengers 4. And the deal is that up until the third Spider-Man movie, maybe the second Spider-Man movie, standalone, it's a Marvel Studios production.
Okay.
And let's be real, Sony's not going to be like, wow, these movies aren't doing so well, we're going to take back Spider-Man. They're going to be like, wow, this has been really profitable for us, so yeah, you can keep helping us make these movies. Also, Disney gets all the licensing rights from this. The only thing Sony ends up getting is distribution and, well, they get distribution and theatrical release.
I would still like them to buy Spider-Man. Speaking of that, though, I wonder if Disney can sell off certain pieces of Fox once they own it.
Oh,
I don't know if legally they can or not, but like I'd be all for them selling off certain properties.
Right.
And also we've obviously just touched things, this Fox owns a lot of stuff. Who knows what's in that treasure trove of properties that like we haven't even thought about yet.
Well, and one thing we didn't mention too is with the streaming service, this provides them a lot of content that they can automatically put up there and have as their back catalog.
Confusing the consumer.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they'll have all the previous Marvel movies that Fox made.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, I think we've talked this to death. Yeah, anything else you want to add? You're for it. I'm not so for it. I think you're gonna win.
I like how you're not so for it, but you're not like all the way not for it.
I'm not all. Listen, there are definitely pros to this, but let's just admit that all of these pros are because Disney has just bought up stuff that they didn't create. So pro number one, Marvel. Well, if Disney didn't own Marvel Studios, I'd be cool with that. Pro number two, Star Wars. If they didn't own Lucasfilm, I'd be okay with it. Like, so all of these pros are because I just want things to fit neatly in a box, but it's because Disney made a mess of the box. In my opinion. I'm gonna get so many hate comments on this, but it's
based on your metaphor of the box.
Yeah.
It's like you got a toy box, and all your parents ever buy you are Disney toys.
I want to create...
But you want the Star Wars toys, and you want the Marvel toys.
No, I don't want them.
I want them in my toy box.
No, I don't want them.
Well,
they're fine. They're fine as they are. Listen, I like Star Wars. I like it as its thing. That's all.
Whatever.
I think it's creatively lazy. I think we can agree on that. It is lazy to just be like, I got lots of money, so let me just buy stuff.
I don't think that's the case, especially with Lucasfilm, because Lucasfilm was not making any movies until Disney bought them.
I kind of like that.
No.
I respect that.
No,
George Lucas is an artist.
Both Lucasfilm and Marvel, the quality of their products have only gone up since Disney bought them.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, their products have only gone up in quality since Disney bought them, and that's because Disney gave them the tools to craft a better product.
Okay.
And the thing is that Disney is not even, they don't have a huge hand in either one of those studios.
I just like I don't like being oversaturated, and I feel like that's happened because of Disney. Like I would agree that maybe there needed to be a balance when it comes to Lucasfilm and, not making anything and then Disney doing one every year. I think that's too much. I love anticipation. Listen, I'm not that excited for episode 8.
Well, you're a loser.
No, I'm just, here's the thing. Like, I was for 7 because it had been so long. But I've had a Star Wars movie every year now.
For 3 years.
Too much.
You've only seen 2 movies.
Normally, I have to wait 3 years for the next one.
Jurassic 3 years.
Jurassic World will be 3 years until the
I don't
sequel.
care about that.
But that's fine. You don't care about
Jurassic
it.
World looks stupid.
But you're not a Jurassic World fan. I'm saying if you're a fan of something, anticipation is a wonderful thing. Giving me too much of it makes me want to just vomit it, and I take it for granted, and I don't care. It's not 2 years. It was 1 year.
Since episode 7?
Yeah, but then we had Rogue One.
Yeah, but that didn't tie into
It's all Star Wars, man.
Oh.
It's all Star Wars.
All right, we gotta finish this now.
Okay, well then I think that means it's trivia time. Hey folks, and welcome to Trivia Time. Today on the show, I have Rob from Rob Plays on YouTube. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
No problem. Today our trivia segment is going to be about the great movie ride. Long and forgotten great movie ride. Still shedding a tear over that fact. But yeah, why don't you start with a trivia question while I get over the sadness?
Sure. Okay. So the late great movie ride. Which movie was originally slated to get its own full attraction, but ultimately ended up just getting featured in the Great Movie Ride?
I think it was Alien, which was originally the concept for the extraterrestrial alien encounter, correct?
Yep. You nailed it.
You got me for a second. I honestly was like, "Ooh, which one?" I was like, "Was Wizard of Oz supposed to?" And they're like, "I don't know, Alien." That's right. Yeah, that extraterrestrial alien encounter has a really interesting history. Have you done a video on that one? I can't remember.
I did. It was way back before the channel started to grow, so I don't know how many people have seen it, but just going into what especially looking into what the original plot was going to be that George Lucas was helping them with, very different from what it ended up being. It was a much darker ride.
Yeah, it's that attraction has had an interesting history. Personally, I've seen the different versions of it. I saw the original Extraterrestrial, and obviously I've seen Stitch. I've never been a very big fan of it, even the original. I know people love it and have like great memories of it. Did you experience the original?
I was too young and too afraid. I did not even I avoided it. I've tried Stitch. I'm in the boat of I'm not gonna really miss it, but just seeing the fandom around Alien Encounter, like there must have been something special there.
Yeah, the sad truth about it is that if it had been put at the Disney's Hollywood Studios, it would probably still be running, is my guess. It was just bad placement for that attraction, I feel like.
And it was, I think, towards the beginning of, Tomorrowland's kind of identity crisis that it's kind of going through right now. I mean, there are a lot of great rides, but there was definitely a time where it had a more cohesive theme, and I think this is where it started to break off.
Basically, when it comes to Tomorrowland, the Magic Kingdom, I just say don't touch the Carousel of Progress unless you're going to update it, and we'll be good. That's all it comes down to.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah, so my question about the Great Movie Ride for you is about a plaque that's outside of the Chinese Theater at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It mentions a year on this plaque. Do you know what year it mentions? It basically says this facade is a recreation of the Chinese Theater originally built in Hollywood, California in...
Ooh, this is going to be a total shot in the dark. I'm going to say 1928.
You are 100% correct and 100% wrong. So here's the thing. You're correct. The plaque in Disney's Hollywood Studios does say 1928. The fact is that the actual Chinese theater was opened in Hollywood in 1927. So,
wow.
Yeah, so the plaque hanging on the Chinese theater at Disney's Hollywood Studios is incorrect.
Wow. Now, is there a plaque on the actual Chinese theater, and is that correct?
That I don't know. I will have to take a drive down to Hollywood Boulevard, which honestly I've been meaning to do because I heard they started doing a projection show on the real Chinese theater.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Life
which I thought was
imitating
cool.
art.
Yeah, I really liked that. So yeah, I am shocked by this. Surprised it hasn't been changed if this is in fact true. And I did the research, and Grauman's Chinese Theater opened in May of 1927. So
wow, that must have been buried somewhere in my subconscious because that was a total shot in the dark. I don't know how I got 28.
Yeah, that is a shot in the dark. It is also Mickey's debut year, so maybe you were thinking that. I don't know, but yeah, it's crazy. That's some fun facts. Thanks so much for joining on today's trivia time. As I mentioned, folks, you can find Rob as Rob Plays on YouTube. I'll also have the link down below in the description on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us, Rob.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, folks, hope you enjoyed that trivia. Before we go, I do want to remind you we have the Goofy Autograph Contest. Yes, Mr. Bill Farmer signed some Goofy prints while he was here that you can win. So
can win!
There's only a couple days left to enter that. Go to DisneyCoastToCoast.com, click on that contest tab, and find out how you can win an autographed print of Goofy by Goofy's voice for the last 30 years, Mr. Bill Farmer. At DisneyCoastToCoast.com. And then
Mr. Bill Farmer at DisneyCoastToCoast.com?
No, it's just DisneyCoastToCoast.com.
Does he have an email with us now?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, boy.
I'm going to start writing him emails all the time.
That's weird. Anyway, guys, I also want to give a shout out to PK. PK, thank you so much for leaving a 5-star written review on iTunes and helping other Disney fans find the show.
Jeff, how do you do that?
It's so easy. All you go, the new iTunes makes it so easy. You go, there's a button that says write a review, and you can click 5 stars, write what you want, and then boom. You just help people find the show.
Yeah.
I love it. And then you get a shout out on the show.
Yeah.
So go do that. Other than that, I think good conversation, sir. You're gonna win this battle.
I know.
They're gonna buy.
You know what?
They're gonna buy Fox.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, the fact that they're leaning in the direction, the fact that they want Disney.
Maybe they don't have the money for it.
Disney?
Wow, that's not true at all.
They'll just cut the what they pay cast members in the parks to save some money to pay for Fox. That's all.
Ow.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a magical week, everybody. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.